Thanks and welcome everybody. My name is William van Voorthuizen. I'm the PTS and product specialist for Business Central at QBS Group. And for now, you should all a little bit familiar with me as one of the presenters of the monthly webcast. Once again, the topics for this webcast. First, we will have some coverage of the news of the past month regarding Business Central. And some reminders around decreasing of license discounts next month. Something about Corona, yeah, we are covering that as well. Then the other Dynamics 365 news covered by Chris Parks, and then we will hand it over to Quadira for a presentation on advanced forms. So I would love to start with the key takeaways of the Business Central 2020 Wave 1 release, which I covered more in depth in the previous webcast, where I have been going through all the new features related to this new release. So if you're interested in an in-depth coverage, please have a look at that webcast. But for now, I want to once again highlight the key takeaways of that webcast. First, the migration from NAV or a earlier Business Central on-prem release to Business Central SaaS. Up until now, you first have to upgrade your NAV solution to Business Central version 14, then do an upgrade to version 15, and then you could use Intelligent Cloud to migrate to Business Central SaaS. With the new release coming in April this year, the upgrade to Business Central 15 on-prem is not required anymore. So you are now able to go directly from Business Central 14 on-prem to Business Central SaaS. So it makes it easier. On the other hand, you could also say that Business Central version 14 is more or less the parking place Microsoft has created for all the NAV customers with heavily CAL customized solutions. So Business Central 14 is more or less parking place, and Business Central 15 is not required anymore as a step within the upgrade path. Next up, the new features related to the integration between Business Central and the Common Data Service. For now, you should all a little bit be familiar with what the Common Data Service is. And it's good to see that Microsoft is enhancing the integration between Business Central and the Common Data Service. For example, by providing a new onboarding experience where it's easier to create connections between Business Central and the Common Data Service. And also when you're developing extensions, for example, that integrate with the Common Data Service, it's now enhanced that table extensions can be created within the Common Data Service. And this will allow for any custom attribute to be synchronized between Business Central and the Common Data Service. And good to know that more will come in the future for sure. And of course, the dream has always been that Business Central will once be a full Common Data Service app, just like Dynamics 365 for sales or marketing or whatever. Another key takeaway is the new capabilities given by Microsoft to the ISVs or the partners having an app on AppSource, because they released a new API that you can use, and with that, new versions of your apps on AppSource will be made available to the customers. So you could compare it, to make it simple, with, for example, your App Store on iOS or Google Play Store on your Android phone, where if in the case you have an installed app on your phone and the developer has created an updated version of it and submitted it to AppSource, then you get a notification on your extension management page that a new version of a certain app you're using is available for you. So Microsoft gives the ISVs more or less some power to notify the customer that a new version is available. And of course, the end customer is still in charge to decide to install the update, yes or no. First, it's a private preview for some limited number of ISVs selected by Microsoft, and after the pilot is ended, then it will roll out to every ISV as a capability soon after the Wave 1 release. So the key takeaways, once again, and I suggest also once again to view the last webinar if you haven't before. The key takeaways are that you're now able to migrate directly from version 14 to SaaS. That Business Central will also become more CDS compatible. You as an ISV are able to push your apps to the extension management page of the end customers, and also some telemetry, and I will dive into that later on. So Microsoft is also bringing some enhancements to the partners as well to monitor the performance of tenants of the end customer. For now, the news is that Business Central 15.3 is released, and with that also comes along a few new features. A few of them also covered in the last webinar, but for now I would like to highlight the last one: sign-in attempt telemetry in application insights for the partners. And to give you a little bit explanation, what is application insights? For those who don't know, it's a feature of Azure Monitor, and it's more or less a application performance management tool to monitor the performance of your live applications. So to say, Business Central. Currently, Microsoft offers you as a partner in the Business Central Admin Center the capabilities to view telemetry regarding authorization and long-running operations. Good to know, authorization is only applicable for Business Central SaaS, and long-running operations also for on-prem. What information gives the telemetry to you as a partner? For example, authorization, it provides the information about the user's sign-in attempts. And that information includes success or failure indication, reason for failure, user type, and so on. So you get an idea if end customer are complaining about that it's not possible to log in their environment for whatever reason. And the long-running operation provides information about SQL queries that take longer than expected to execute. And that's, once again, this is for version 15.3, released this month. And in the new version 16, we also get some telemetry regarding the performance and running operations regarding web services, reports, and also on open customers, so open company. So that means compared to the authorization telemetry, you could monitor the success or failures of open certain companies. How to enable that? This process, that's good to know, requires a restart of the environment. So if you are saying to your end customer, okay, we are going to use this feature to monitor your performance, it's good to know that the environment has to restart. So it's good to know to enable this feature not during working hours. And more information, of course, in the links mentioned in this slide. And if this presentation is shared with you, you have all the information and also the links as well. Also good to know with this version, of course, we shared earlier some changes around the cookies policies handled by different browsers. So once again, the reminder, check the link that you need to be on a certain latest version of NAV or Business Central to not be disrupted by a older version of a browser which causes problems for accessing your Business Central tenant. Also good to know, because maybe end customers are asking you questions about that, is that Business Central will now push messages to your end customers if they access Business Central through Internet Explorer. And that message contains more or less the message that Internet Explorer is not suggested anymore. Please go to Microsoft Edge, for example. Also, a new capability of this version is that partners or ISVs with apps on AppSource get new information. For example, the number, type, and state of Business Central licenses, as well as the number of real allocated seats. So that enables partners to implement the user-based billing of their apps and also have the insights how many licenses are really used by allocated seats. More information in the link as well. Also some new features in Business Central 15.3, and this is only applicable for the Netherlands, but it's very important, and therefore I would like to highlight this as well in this Central webcast, is that with this new version we have a difference in the VAT reporting framework. In the past we had the W1 version to create your VAT postings and post the VAT declaration in your general journal. Next to that, you had to use the Dutch localization, the electronic tax declaration, which was a completely separate part in NAV or Business Central, where you have to create a tax declaration and submit it to the tax authority via Digiport, for example. The problem with that was that you have difference in calculations, and that in the last one where you really submit the VAT declaration, you didn't have the option to choose between open and or closed entries, and also the option within and or before periods, which was available in the W1 version. Also, you're now able to create flexible declaration periods, so monthly, quarterly, or different type of quarters, and you also get automated reminders if you have to submit your VAT declaration. Also, there's an enhanced certificate management page available, and lastly, you have the choice to submit the VAT declaration directly to the tax authority via Digiport, or to download a standalone XBRL file. That's it for now. I would like to address the Dutch partners to the Dutch part of our Jammer community as well in the coming days, where we would love to highlight some more in-depth information around this new feature. We are also getting a lot of questions about how to get notified about updates for the tenants of Business Central of your end customers. So once again, for every tenant, a notification will be sent to the notification recipient, which is registered in the Business Central Admin Center. Also, a lot of partners are receiving those emails in their junk folder. So it's good to know that those emails are sent from the email address mentioned on the slide, and it contains Dynamics 365 Business Central in the subject line, so you are able to create a rule for that, for example. Also good to know that you get notifications up front for major updates, for example version 16, but only afterwards for minor updates, for example for version 15.3. Then there's an update on the delegated admin. When you sign into your customer's Business Central tenant as the delegated administrator from the Business Central Admin Center, you have access to all areas of Business Central. However, because you're not registered as a regular user, there are certain tasks that you cannot do. and that information was available, but now we have some extras, so you're not able to set up jobs or to run as scheduled tasks in the job queue page. Also, the edit in Excel function is not available. You as a partner are not able to invite the external accountant. You could not change the experience from standard to premium. And you could also not run the cloud migration setup. Instead, a user who is assigned the super permission set. So if it's just a user in the Business Central tenant or a internal admin, those users are capable of running the cloud migration setup, for example. Good to know, and also the link is available and shared with you by sharing this presentation. Microsoft also has released some information about how to prepare, test, and learn before a new major version of Business Central. So they advise you to follow a few steps. For example, once the preview is available, for example, for version 16, that was at the beginning of February, you create a sandbox with the new features, test it, but then they say, okay, before you're going to do the real update on your production environment, once again create a sandbox, test if the data will work. So you create a sandbox with data out of your production environment, do a test, and also you're able to test if certain third-party applications, for example from AppSource, are also working. Once again, link available in this presentation. Then something else, remember that your discount rate as a partner is decreasing by April 1st. We've mentioned it many times earlier, but it's good to know to give a reminder once again. The new license discount rate will drop by 10%, and it's applicable for partners buying through DPL for products like NAV, GP, SL, CRM, and BC. And for now, at least at this moment, the discount for the enhancement plan will not change. But once again, your license discount will drop by 10%. And to be sure that orders are processed before April 1st, QBS Group has a cutoff date for a guaranteed order processing. And that's Wednesday, March 25th at 4 p.m. Our time zone. For volume agreements, the cutoff day is set at Friday, March 20th, so we have a little bit more time. All manual transactions received after those dates will be handled as at a best effort processing practice, continuous until Monday, March 30th at 4 p.m. our time zone. So once again, cutoff date Wednesday, March 25th. Volume deals Friday, March 20th. And all manual transactions received after those dates will be handled at a best effort processing practice. A short overview of the discount, what is changing. On the left is the old situation, on the right is the new situation. For example, if you're a tier C partner doing, for example, 100,000 US dollars, just to make it easier using this graph, you get a 40% discount until April 1st, and after that it will be 30%. And good to know, for new partners, they will always get 30% after April 1st. Then something else. Corona. You're all familiar with it. And now I'm going to tell you something about Corona and the Power Platform. What's the relationship? Microsoft pulled together a team to help customers coordinate their own information sharing and team collaboration in response to evolving conditions in times of crisis. People are working from home, and you as an employer has to inform your employees. So Microsoft has created an app for that within 48 hours. And it's a solution which combines the capabilities of Power Apps, Power Automate, Teams, and SharePoint. So a lot of applications from the Microsoft stack. Key features are that an employee can report their work status, working from home, so I mentioned before, but also you as an admin, as an employer, are able to communicate or push communications to your employees. And also this app will have some integrations with RSS feeds from the World Health Organizations or a local authority, for example. They're also giving away to all Power Apps users a temporary access to a premium feature, because like I mentioned before, with this app you're able to send out push notifications. Normally you need a paid subscription for that, but as long as Corona is there, you get it for free. So once again, Corona has a relationship with the Power Platform for now. And yeah, the idea is, of course, that Microsoft shows what is capable, possible with the Power Platform. And also good to know they've created this whole app within 48 hours. So it's more or less a demo case, for, of course, but also a good opportunity for you to create, to have a first experience with the Power Platform if you haven't before. So yeah, you're able to set up and learn about this app, and you're able to bring it live within your own organization within 1 hour. You just have to follow a wizard with some steps, and then you are familiar with some apps of the Power Platform, like I mentioned before, Power Apps, Power Automate, but also Power BI. And yeah, it's more or less a win-win situation where you could have some experience with the Power Platform and also link to some actual news at the moment. That's it from my side for now. And with that, I would love to hand it over to Chris Parks with some other news regarding the other parts of the Dynamics 365 family. Chris, take it away.
Thank you, William. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for having me speak today. For those that don't know me, my name's Chris Parks. I work in Dynamics 365 Business Development at QBS Group. Prior to my career at QBS, I joined in 2017. I spent 15 years working at Microsoft in the Dynamics UK team and other various teams with CRM as a primary solution. What I'd like to cover today on this call are three things. One is a recent blog post from Microsoft concerning new announcements with regards to the Dynamics 365 family of products and finance and operations. Two is the upcoming team member license restrictions for Dynamics 365 and the potential impact which may have impact on your customers, unbeknownst to them. I will flag what that is. And three is Business Central licensing attach professional SKU availability for Dynamics 365 sales and service, which is a new offer in market from Microsoft. So to talk about the recent announcements, there was a lead blog post from James Phillips, the president of Microsoft Business Applications, on February the 19th, which interestingly was tagged under artificial intelligence, but also contained details on new capabilities heading to Dynamics 365 for CRM and for F&O. So this here is a brief summary of those changes. Also, there was a link to the 2020 Wave 1 release documentation listing over 400 new and updated features. So I hope you're happy. I will not run through all of those on these calls, but I have included a link in the presentation so that you can read them yourselves should you need to. Now, Dynamics 365 Customer Insights, if you're unaware of what that is, think know your customer, know the channels that you speak to them through, know the touch points, and know how to target them with personalization, etc. It's very relevant to retail and retail customers, but also other industries where business to consumer is core. Microsoft announced updates to the Customer Insights product based on the customer data platform. Those were really around personalizing, enhanced data integrations, enriched data sources, integrations with third-party data. The reason I wanted to flag this out primarily is that they also talked about voice of the customer in there. And they mentioned integration with Forms Pro to bring in the valuable voice of the customer across channels. Anybody who currently or has been working with CRM for a while will know that voice of the customer is something that has been part of CRM, certain SKUs for a while, and that's been deprecated at the end of June 2020. So Customer Insights retails at $1,500 per month. So it's very much an enterprise targeted SKU, and that's where Microsoft now position voice of the customer inside that product. For Dynamics 365 and Dynamics 365 sales and sales insights, think here more around automated forecasting and inside sales rep guidance for the announcements that were made. These capabilities are available now. They talk in the blog post about using artificial intelligence to extract patterns from current and historical CRM data. So analysis of leads won, lost, opportunities, customer interactions, and other data sources, and using that to project patterns into the future to help build out forecasts. So they're talking about sales pipeline, artificial intelligence to analyze that, and also using that to build sales forecasts moving forward. It does say this is available now, so if you do have a test instance, a trial instance, or you run this internally, it's something that you should be able to access. The other piece in there around Dynamics 365 Sales Insights was an announcement of a new engagement center, and this was designed to help triage, research, and engage new leads. Very interesting. If you look at the kind of blog post after, you'll see some of the screenshots that are very self-explanatory. But it talked about using AI to personalize priority action-driven work queues to help kind of inside sales reps deliver tasks based on predictive lead scoring. So where there's a hot lead, prioritize that for an inside sales rep, let them know the right tasks that they should complete in the right order, but also to prioritize that so that the warmer, the hotter deals and the leads were dealt with sooner, and hopefully increase time to close. And they talked about kind of configurable sales cadences there as well, and also assistance-based guidance to warm introductions, which looked like a kind of a networking tool inside of Dynamics CRM, where you know kind of like LinkedIn, where you have mutual connections and based around that technology. The Finance Insights one. There was less information on this, but this I think is very relevant to both Business Central partners as well as F&O partners, because there were some great screenshots on there. It talked about increasing accuracy of projected cash flow. It talked about adapting quickly with intelligent budget proposals, and it talked about reliably predicting customer payments, but it had a whole host of very nice Power BI dashboards and screenshots of those dashboards that kind of highlighted some of the capabilities that would be coming to Finance Insights. So with that in mind, I think little information. It does say it's coming to preview in May for Finance and Operations, but that's just kind of a flavour of some of the information that's going to drive. And again, it was all around artificial intelligence and using that to help enable the back office. So finally, on this section, Dynamics 365 project operations, think about Microsoft Project here and Dynamics 365 combined. They said that general availability for this was expected October the 1st, 2020, but it's a new application bringing together capabilities from Dynamics 365 Project Services Automation, which is one of the modules of CRM, and also Microsoft Project for the web, and Dynamics 365 PMA, or Project Management Accounting, as part of F&O. It's all based on the Power Platform capabilities. There's a plan to help customers migrate if they're already using one of those existing products, a simple update from PSA, and a clear migration path from PMA, Project Management Automation, is what is claimed. So those were the kind of overarching announcements. Another thing that's been discussed and may have sneaked under the radar is team member license enforcement. And for those that don't know the history of team member licenses in relation to Dynamics 365, Microsoft made them available for sales and customer service and project service access several years ago. And they were designed for lightweight access to allow users to read, write to the CRM core entities. Many customers use the license to bypass the need for a full user license. So probably within 12 months, Microsoft changed the allowable permissions of the team member license to restrict the entities and capabilities of the team member user. Now, the license has been paper-based up until recently. So, it's in the licensing guide, it's in the terms and conditions in Appendix A. You will see the details. So, for example, there's no create, read, update, or delete for account records using a team member license. What Microsoft have said is that they are going to enforce the paper-based licensing restrictions technically for team member SKUs after the end of March 2020. So after the end of this month, if you have customers with team member license SKUs, they are no longer going to be able to use the license in an incorrect fashion. So they can't be used for mislicensing. So why have Microsoft done that? Well, team member licenses can be used to access full features and functionality at a fraction of the price. And they also want to help customers, to help ensure customers are license compliant. So what's very interesting here is how Microsoft are going to go about doing this. And they've announced new applications being created. There's still very little information on these given the expected time to implementation, so that customers don't and can't be non-compliant. So the details are somewhat sketchy around the apps, particularly around integrating with existing customizations, because team members allows up to 15 custom entities to be used. But the flag is the end of the month, and it's also likely that this is the start of things to come with regards to license enforcement. So those team members can no longer access the app through the primary manner, and will have their own app instead that will enable technical restrictions to be enforced. So the call to action there, I think, is to review the guide. Get in touch with your partner sales manager if you think you have customers that may be effective. We do at QBS have solutions that can help with this. We have a cloud partner panel that you could connect up to customer tenants that would very effectively flag where team member licenses are in existence. So do contact your PSM if you need more information around that. Finally, the Dynamics 365 Professional SKU and the attach to Business Central. So Microsoft announced a one-to-one offer for Dynamics 365 for sales and Dynamics 365 for customer service professional SKU, so not the enterprise SKU, the lower value professional SKU, to be attached to Business Central Premium or Essential users. Both are qualifying SKUs. Now, this is a great offer because the offer comes in at $20 per user per month, which is kind of half the cost of retail. But there are some significant differences between the professional and the enterprise SKU that we recommend partners are aware of before promoting this to their customers. So some of the things to be aware of, you can't use this to license an on-premises environment. So there's no dual use rights with this SKU. You can't have a mix, and this is very, very critical. You can't have a mix of professional and enterprise users in the same instance. So this is due in part due to the limitations around customer entities, business process flows, custom workflows, where there are restrictions on the numbers and the usage. So if you're thinking, oh, well, I can have 5 enterprise users and 20 professional users, that's not the case. They have to be separate instances. It can be within the same tenant, but it must be a separate instance, which brings around data integration challenges and everything else along those lines. So I think just other things to flag: the per user storage capacity entitlement doesn't exist. You don't get access to portals instances. You don't get Forms Pro integration. There is an enterprise upgrade path available without migration. So if you did use this as a starter for your customers, they can transition to enterprise path or the enterprise SKU without having to go through a whole migration exercise. So those are the 3 things that I wanted to cover today. The blog post with the new announcements, lots of links in the presentation for you to review after, the team member license restrictions and the potential impact, and this Business Central professional attached SKU. So thank you very much for your time and for listening in. Now over to Quadira, which I hope I pronounced correctly, to talk about how to connect, create and share your perfect documents for Business Central and more.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me share my screen. So welcome all to the part of Quadira in the webcast of QBS. Today we would like to talk about some issues you might be facing or your customers might be facing during processes in Microsoft Dynamics. Today's topic is about how to effectively manage your document output management with advanced forms. I'm Nicolas Verzu. I'm Sales and Marketing Manager at Quadira. And yeah, thanks again, QBS, for this opportunity to present ourselves during the webcast. So, first of all, these are some statements from customers which I would like to show you, which you can solve with our solution. So the customer wants to create a specific layout, but this does cost too much time within the standard Microsoft Dynamics application, or it's even almost impossible. So they want to ensure the corporate identity that can be more valuable, or they want to be able to easily send the terms and conditions as an attachment when sending documents from Dynamics 365. And this is a standard environment, almost impossible. In many cases, an attachment is necessary, so that would be nice to easily send this. So another one, they want to be able to quickly make an adjustment to a report themselves, and this is in the standard application painful or even impossible for an end user. So this need arises during working process and requires direct action. Or does your business require a very complicated output and need to be able to distribute your documents via several ways, but are you too limited in the standard ERP? So we can imagine if an invoice must be presented to the recipient in, for example, 4 different ways. So here are some issues you might be facing as a partner. So do you as a partner want to manage the entire document flow for your customers? Delivering full service to your customers is, I hope so, your highest priority. Or do you as a partner have customers who are switching to Dynamics 365 and want to migrate its old report and processes as much as possible? In these cases, you would have little time for a migration. So, or do you as a partner have customers who are looking for a document output solution fitting their supply chain? So our solution has, for instance, a setup for a validation process, but the standard ERP falls short. Or do we as partner want to work and to offer your customers as many technical options as possible, because more and more clients want to work fully in the cloud these days? So what kind of business challenges are your customers or you as a partner facing? Yeah, the need of being flexible is there. So you and your client want to be able to have different or several output strategies per entity, build up different type of documents and even different documents per customer. In the current world, with the latest wishes, you and your customer want to be able to be in control of your document output. So just adjust your output quickly and efficiently according to the needs of the customer or even your suppliers is a need. While working on, customers are expecting more and more from you as a partner. So you as a partner want to meet the demands and wishes of your customers by delivering the right documents in the right way and also at the right time, of course. So our vision, we are Quadira, and we think our partners and customers need to be able to remain distinctive and flexible in the current growing standardizing world. So we as Quadira want to help our partners and clients to be able to remain distinctive and flexible by offering our solution, advanced forms, as you might have heard before. The results of working with our document output management solution are improving your and your customers' business. So it helps you save time and, of course, money. By using advanced forms, you will save time on development issues, for instance, or handling costs, manual interactions with find easy documents and quickly in the advanced forms archive. That's also an option. It helps you reduce failures, secure your corporate identity by, for instance, editing a logo on a document, easy. Advanced Forms is also a solution which you can easily handle yourself. So as for Quadira, we always like to tell our partners and customers that the software solution has to be easy and has to be, if the customer wants to handle it themselves, it has to be possible. So it has to be easy. With a short learning curve, with our solution, you will easily do it yourself. So there's no need for a specialist for changes or control to the documents or process anymore. So you as a partner or the end user will be able to control it yourselves. So let me introduce Quadira. Quadira has been founded in 1999 by our founder and still our CEO, Hayo Kantus. A strong point of our business is that our product, Advanced Forms, is made in Holland, which means we have our own output management specialists. In Veghel, where we are located, it's near Eindhoven. For the people who are not familiar with Veghel, we have our own facilities. So for the implementation of our software, we have our own trained specialists, but also we have our training facility. So for instance, the partner can always be trained free at our facility, and most of the times if we sell the license or a product, a 2-day training is enough to get on yourself. Also, we do have a support department where customers can call to when they have a question regarding an issue. And overall, we have more than 400 happy customers and almost 700 trained professionals, which are all over the world. So I can imagine that you're thinking, why should we use Advanced Forms? There are many other solutions, so why should we use Advanced Forms? Well, Advanced Forms is developed with Microsoft certified tools. So we are also a gold certified partner of Microsoft, which also means that our software has been developed according to Microsoft standards. So with our powerful graphical user interface is what you see, really what you get. So our solution brings your business the flexibility which probably you're looking for, and also your customers. The solution comes with several modules, for instance, the application connector, where we get the data from, the document and email template designer, where you can design your own reports, a workflow studio, where you have a canvas, where you can design your own workflow, and also a portal, which you can, for instance, use for validation steps or our digital archive. So I always like to share this little architectural picture. Our solution is basically built up in 3 steps. So as you see, as you might seen in our slogan, the steps are connect, create, and share. At first, the connect part. The connect part is the part where you connect with the ERP system. So we use the connect part to get input for the next part. The input can be delivered in several ways. As you can see, it's possible to get input from, for instance, for Azure services, a web service, FTP, mail-in, printer-in, etc., etc. There are many more possibilities to get input, but for this particular webcast, I use this one. As you can see, we do have connectors, which you can take care of the XML for the next steps, or just the input. So the create step is the part where you pick up the input or the XML, and then the creation starts. So in the create step, we have the powerful designer, where we can actually design the documents. With the powerful designer, you'll be able to build up a report in a how do I call it? A drag and drop way. So the creation part also allows to get to use our live preview while designing with live data. So if you changing a field on the document, you can actually get a preview with live data. So there's also a possibility to create your own multifunctional workflow in the Advanced Form Studio. Later on, you will receive a screen picture of this. So the last part is the share part. As we have mentioned before, with our solution, we can make sure you can distribute your documents in several ways. For instance, you can see that we can distribute it to a digital archive, but also mail out or in UBL, XML, print out, web services, even SharePoint. And also a nice feature is the exchange module out. So we can also, if you send an email out, we can place your sent items in Exchange. So this is an example of the Advanced Form Studio where you can build up your own workflow in the canvas. So the studio contains a lot of modules which you can easily add to the canvas by drag and drop. And then with a connection, you can modify a model. So this is might be familiar for some of you. This is a screenshot of our Advanced Forms designer. So in this design, you can easily build up a report by using live data, as I've mentioned before. On the top right, you can see a data source selection. So here you can add your data, and from there on, you can open the XML, the data fields, and just drag and drop onto the actual design. So this is a screenshot of our Advanced Forms portal. So I've mentioned before, but for instance, if you want to do a validation steps for the office or for your delivery guys or whatever, in this portal you can easily set up some validation steps. So the Advanced Forms portal is a browser application, as you can see, and it's also available an app for the telephone or a tablet, so your delivery driver can handle it from his mobile phone or tablet or whatever. So to give a short overview of our solution called Advanced Forms, Quadira is the specialist in output management. With a made in Holland product, our Advanced Forms, we are full in control of the development of our product. Advanced Forms is by Microsoft and many end users and customers and partners described as a proven technology. With Advanced Forms, you are full in control to create, share your documents to any customers and even needs in specific ways. And Advanced Forms is flexible and easy to use. So the flexibility is with the workflow and also with the designer where you can easily change the field or add a logo or, for instance, some other address fields from live data. So a nice thing I wanted to tell, the last part of the webcast, is that we are available on the QBS marketplace. So if you're interested, please take a look in the marketplace or just contact the QBS or ask for more information. So this is the end of our part of the webcast. I would like to thank again QBS for this opportunity and also the audience for listening. If you want to have more information about the software, just contact us via sales@quadira.com or via our website. And to end the webcast, I would like to announce that we are hosting a webinar on the 3rd of April. So are you interested in how you could effectively manage your document output with Advanced Forms? Please sign up for the webinar and follow a full demonstration of our solution. And there we go live, so you can also ask any questions live. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nikolai. Before you go, there's one question now in your chat box. Hopefully you have the time to answer that one.
Let's see.
Can you open the chat box, or otherwise I can read?
Yeah, I can open. Let's see. The question is, does your solution with form pipe LaserNet? What is that?
Yeah, that's the one. It's from Thomas Jungler. Thank you so much for raising this question.
Yeah.
Do you have an answer on that one? Otherwise, we can.
I cannot answer the question. I will check it here, and
Mhm.
I'll make sure you receive the information and can send it maybe in the follow-up mail.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Or just contact us via sales@quadira.com.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Nikolai, for taking care of this question. One other question is about the Power App example which Wim has presented. There is a need for some training courses, I read. So, okay, well, the- it's your lucky day. As on the QBS group, we have the so-called virtual led training courses, which you can follow up online. And these are all based on developing yourself on this Power Platform. So very useful and very easy to follow, as these are all online. So what I can advise is please visit qbsgroup.com training, and you will see our offers regarding to our Power Platform. Okay, well, that was it for now. I want to all thank you all for joining this this webcast, and we will see each other